Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From March 1st through March 31st, 2020, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a WPN Mystery Booster Box. Also, there's another way to enter where no purchase is necessary. See the link in the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and it's been a while since I did a gameplay video, and considering everything that's going on, I thought it would be nice to get some extra content out. So we're going to do a Theros Beyond Death draft today, and let's get started here with pack number 1. So I actually pre-recorded this and am voicing over it now because I kind of got this idea at the last minute. So this is a pretty good pack 1. What's awkward about it though is, yeah, you know what? Bronze-Hide Lion's great, but in Theros especially, picking a 2-color card right off the bat is a little weird because you do have a lot of opportunities to go into really good monocolor decks. But I went with it. It's the most powerful card in the pack. We'll see what happens. Here's pack number 2. So, I mean, staying in green/white to some degree would be nice, but again, I'm not like really trying to force that. If there's something really powerful in another color at this point, it's still pretty early. You can always throw away that first pick, again, especially in this set. So, good green creature here. At common, Voracious Typhoon is what I went with. Or Typhon. So, next we have a red card as our top uncommon here, which is a little high variance, but not a bad card. Ultimately, let's see what we have in this pack. The card I really like here is the next one over, which I'll be getting to in just a second, after I consider that one. Sentinel's Eye. I mean, Sentinel's Eyes is just a solid card. It's really hard to deal with. You can keep bringing it back multiple times during the game. It's an enchantment, which is going to turn on other abilities. It's just awesome value. Feels like the bots in this draft also undervalue it, so a lot of times you can pick them up later in a pack as well. And that's what I was considering there for a moment. Will this wheel? But there was nothing else I really cared about. So this is an okay pack. Like, I can pick up a 2-drop, 2/2, good curve filler, or I could go with the 1/4, reach for 3, which also could gain me life throughout the game. Both pretty good choices here, I think, and that's what I got to decide between in this pack. Ultimately, I believe I went with the 2-drop just to fill out my curve a little bit. And usually those 3 drops, like there it is again, the Nexus Wardens, they usually come up around a lot. Now, here's something interesting. Rise to Glory shows up. Very powerful card, but it has black and white in the casting cost. Do I want to go ahead and try to push my boundaries with mana a little bit harder in Theros? That's a tough call. But the power level behind this card, especially considering the direction I'm going in, feels really good. So I'm going to take it, and we're going to try to splash some black. Alright, here, we don't have a ton of choices. Petitioner's okay, but I don't know how green we're going to be. But definitely Transcendent Envoy is going to be good. So, went with that. Nice 2-drop, interacts with a lot of stuff that's out there. Okay, this one's kind of easy. Sunmane Pegasus is going to be a solid creature with evasion and lifelink. I mean, another 2-drop, 2/1 would be fine. And also Wings of Hubris is always really good to have one in your deck. But you can pick them up later, too. Like, you don't have to pick it up right away. They tend to be a little undervalued, too, I think, by the bots. Like, you don't want 5 in your deck or anything, but, like, 1 copy is always real good in this format. Again, I passed up the Wings to go with the 2/2 for 2 there from my curve. I just expect to see more of the Wings come by. I'll take that. Not thrilling, but fine. And now we're kind of running out. Looks like red's open. Let's take that for now. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern could come in handy. We're not playing best of 3, we're playing best of 1, so probably just throw it in the sideboard. Alright, and not a lot for us in these last few picks, which is fine. Like, we have a pretty good start here for a deck. I don't love the 3/6 here, the Rumbling Sentry. Again, I'm going to go with a 2-drop, I'm sorry, with Nexus Wardens. I picked up 2 of those in a row there. So, okay. The 3/6 Scry 2, I mean, it's alright, but it just doesn't feel good enough. I like aspect of Lamprey. It, like, I don't want to just push too much black into this deck, so I'm probably not going to pick it here when you got a good choice like Fairy's Band Brawler, but I might consider it later on. Wolf Willow Haven's okay. There is Final Death in here, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually what I picked here. I don't want to go too deep into the splash color, but this is such a good removal spell, and it's only 1 on color, black and 4. Yeah, I think it's the choice here. It's just very powerful. There's other good cards here, but nothing amazing. Like, it could have grabbed another Sunmane Pegasus. Yeah, it would have been fine, but yeah, we're going to need removal, and that's pretty big removal. What I like about it, too, if I am splashing, it costs 5, so I don't have to worry about being in a situation where I have a 2-drop that's a black card that I just can't get out on turn 2, right? So another Rise to Glory shows up, but I think I'm pretty good. I don't want to push my luck any further in that direction. I think 1's good. Nessian Wanderer can be a pretty solid card if you have enough enchantments to activate it, because you just keep hitting lands, and especially considering I am doing this black splash, and I'm already in 2 pretty solid colors. Yeah, it feels like the pick for me there. Alright, so what's in this one? Could go with another Nexus Wardens. I mean, if you really do have... I went with the Omen, though, which I think is a better choice. Because you're going to see more of those Nexus Wardens, too. The Omens are great. So I get another one of the Pegasus here. For sure. Not a huge fan of Nyxborn Colossus, unless maybe I'm in Gruul. This is fine. I actually like that creature, but Hydra's Growth I'm really considering here because it does have a lot of upside. Sure, you open yourself up to the 2-for-1, which is not cool. But if your opponent doesn't have an answer, you're golden. I'll take this. Altar of Pantheon. That's going to help me fix maybe if I need to. And here I'm looking pretty hard at Traveler's Amulet. Excuse me, because that again is just going to help me fix. Flicker of Fate could be fine. That actually could be pretty good in our deck. Just because we have the things like Nexus Wardens and stuff. We could flicker in a creature and gain more life. But the aspect of Lamprey here is really caught my attention. Because it is really solid, so I'm going to go with that pick. Again, it gets undervalued by the bots. I mean, it would be really late if you're really drafting with people, I think. Loathsome Chimera here is alright, but Citizen Skirmisher I like a little bit better just to keep some low cards in my curve. I think I'll have other opportunities to get some larger creatures. And now I'm going with the Wings of Hubris. This is the time. Yep, we'll take a Warden, and I guess I could take Temple Thief here, but again, that's what I was saying. I don't want my black to be like my 2-drop, because I probably won't be able to cast that on turn 2. Alright, this one's interesting. I thought about Labyrinth of Scophos for a while. The card's decent. There's another Final Death, but again, I don't know how much I want to push the black in this deck. And there are some other cards in here that are good. I mean, I only at this point have 1 Transcendent Envoy, and if I could grab a second one here, that doesn't feel bad for what we're doing in this deck, honestly. Flyers are a premium in this particular format, too. There's a lot of grindy games, a lot of big creatures on the ground. So even little flyers can be good sometimes. You can buff them with enchantments and such. So I think that's what I ended up doing here. I didn't feel like my White Devotion was good enough to go with the first uncommon in the pack. So, alright. That was a tough call, though. I like the Leonin of the Lost Prides, but this has a Waterbriar Blessing in it, which is fantastic. Again, a card that gets undervalued by the bots, too, though. So you might be able to pick it up later. Might have even wheeled, who knows. But I wasn't going to take the chance. Great removal spell here. Dreadful Apathy is fantastic. That will do work for you every time. Couple flyers to choose from, or I could go with the 3/3 green creature here. Either or. So I'm just kind of looking down, seeing how many creatures I have versus enchantments and such. I'm considering that second Hydra's growth, but I don't want to go too enchantment heavy with not enough creatures, because that's going to lead to those hands where you don't have any creatures and all enchantments and lots of mulligans. But ultimately, I liked what I saw with the amount of creatures. I did go with another copy of that for now. We'll see if we play it. Another 2-drop here, just fine for a curve filler. Element of the Sun, that's decent here. Could go with another Wardens, but at this point we have 3 Wardens, so I don't know how many Wardens you're going to need. So we'll just go with another one of these. Citizen Training's good. I like that. It's a cantrip and we don't have any ways to draw cards. Ultimately, if there's one weakness to this deck so far, other than maybe the sketchiness of where we're going with our mana colors, is the fact that we don't have any ways to draw cards, so that's good. We could pick up a second one here. Inspiring All, I just don't really like that card. I mean, I'll tell you, maybe we'll play it, but not a huge fan of it. It's an okay creature, especially if you're doing like White Devotion, or if you really care about enchantments, which this deck doesn't not care about them, but for now I just put it in the sideboard. Just kind of close out this pack. There's a Rumbling Sentry. Okay. So, if I were to rate this deck, not my favorite. Like I said, it's got a couple flaws. Not a lot of ways to draw cards. And also, especially in this set, going 2 colors with a 3rd splash feels pretty greedy. But I think the power level of the black we have warrants it here. So, I got some cuts to make. 47 cards right now. So, first off, we got 15 creatures. I don't want to cut more than 1 creature because I don't want to start getting to the point, especially in these Selesnya decks. An easy trap to fall into is you start going like 11, 12 creatures and all these great enchantments and Magical Christmas Land. Yes, if you can pull it off, wonderful. But so many times that creature gets destroyed and you get 2 or 3 for 1, or you're in a situation where you draw all the enchantments and no creatures, or you draw your 6-drop creature and nothing else. So you want to make sure you have a pretty smooth creature curve. And that's what I'm most concerned about right now as I'm looking at this. I mean, you also remember too, Omen of the Sun, even though it's not a creature, kind of is a creature. It's like a 2/2 for 3, but you also gain 2 life and then you have the scry option later. So it's definitely an awesome card, and it can activate other things. So let's go through and just see here, like what is something that maybe isn't working with our current plan first. So far, I mean, I like everything I see from the 1 and 2 spots. Nothing I feel like we need to drop, actually. We'll lose 1 Nexus Ward, and 3 is a little much. 2, I think, is fine in this deck. I like these, but they might go. They might go. Omen of the Sun. We got a lot of good stuff here. Relentless Pursuit, I don't think I need. I have a lot of ways now to get that black mana, hopefully by the time I need it. So I think that can go. And my curve's not super heavy on top, which is nice. But I am going to get rid of one of those for now. Yeah, I think 1 Citizen Training is good. I don't want to lose that because of the cantrip. Like, if it wasn't for the cantrip, I would ditch that in a heartbeat. But because of the cantrip, I feel like this deck really needs it. So, I'll hang on to it. Yeah, I just like my 1 and 2 spots so much. Like, I don't want to really drop anything here. It's stacked. There's a lot of them, but I really like them. I mean, 2 Hydra's growth is probably a little much. Like 1, I think, will be enough. The other Omen of the Sun could probably go too. I want to keep this stuff. My high end, too. I'm really happy with the low end and high end of the curve. It's the middle where I think I have some wiggle room. 2 Pegasi, whatever, are good. The aspect of Lamprey, I like the card, but considering it's another card in black, maybe that goes. So I have to get rid of still 4 cards here. We'll get rid of the Omen. We'll get rid of 1 Hydra's growth. eventually. I think I decided that, if I remember. Also, to alter Pantheon, I think at this point, with the Traveler's Amulet and a couple swamps, I feel pretty good with what's going on as far as getting that black splash by the time we need it. Our cards in black are going to be 5 drops, so I don't think we need both of those things. You could debate as to which one you want to keep. I don't really have a lot of devotion stuff or any devotion stuff going on, so I think the amulet's a better choice. It's just a little more economical. And I don't need to ramp into anything either. That's the other thing. Like, where am I really ramping to? 6. There goes that Hydra's Growth. 2 more cards. Still tempted to, like, get rid of the Citizen Training, but I can't. You just can't. At this point, I would say the biggest weakness of the deck is card draw. Still have 14 creatures. I do not want to lose another creature at this point. So now I think I just got to come to the conclusion here that the aspect's got to go. That's going to smooth out our mana too. And if the aspect goes, then I feel better about getting rid of Altar or Traveler's Amulet. Right, so you get rid of that, you get rid of Altar, and you're there, I think. Then we'll just fix the mana. That's kind of where I ended up, so gameplay will start in just a second once I figure all that out, but we'll you know, we'll see how I do. I mean, I'm no pro. I don't play as much anymore as I'd like to because I'm always working on Magic videos more so than playing it seems. But I have enjoyed Theros. I played a fair amount of draft here and I've really liked it, like more than I thought I would. So it's been a fun format. I like that you can sometimes draft a good monocolor deck like mono white, mono black. I've had a lot of success with those, getting 7 wins. Going either 7-0, 7-1, 7-2 sometimes, so we'll see. This deck I think is actually good. It's just, it does have its weaknesses, definitely. I mean, the Black Splash is a little scary. Also, it's not an even, like, 50-50 white-green. Like, we're a little heavier in white, I believe, or green. Or yeah, we're a little heavier in green. So that feels a little scary too in some degree, but it's not the worst. But I think the biggest flaw really is the fact that we don't have any way to draw cards. We have 1 cantrip. I mean, we do have ways to thin the deck. Like we can pull lands out, which is nice. With both the Traveler's Amulet and the Nessian Wanderer, right? Nessian Wanderer, yeah. So that could give us the economy we need to squeak by, I suppose. We just got to figure out mana here. I'm just going to go with 2 swamps. I think 2 swamps and the Traveler's Amulet should be more than enough. Maybe, probably could have got away with 1 swamp, actually, in the Traveler's Amulet. Considering those 2 are 5 drops. But, I mean, the consistency's fine. And I think if you're going like 8 and 7 with the other 2 colors, that should be fine too. I'm sure there'll be moments where, when I was putting this together, I was pretty confident that there might be moments where I might want that extra white and not have it, but I don't think it happened all that much, actually. All right, so let's start game 1, see what's happening here. All right, wish me luck. I know how it ended, but still. Like I said, I'm sure I've made gameplay mistakes, so go easy on me. I'm not LSV. I'm playing just to have fun and hopefully give you something to watch. And we'll talk about some stuff as we go through the videos and go through the gameplay too. Alright, so what do we think of this hand? No green, little awkward, and not anything we can do with the white. So we have the Sentinel's Eyes. If we drew a forest, wonderful, but I'm going to mulligan. So, okay. This one's fine. I actually like this one a lot. I can probably ship back maybe the Hydra's Growth. I mean, we do have the Amulet to reshuffle, so it won't stay at the bottom of the deck. Early on, the Hydra's Growth isn't great. Like, it's not going to do wonders on a 2/2, right? I considered the Traveler's Amulet, but I think ultimately... Oh, I did go... Okay. I went with one of the 2 drops. All right. I guess that makes sense, though, too, because Hydra's Growth is good. So, like, even if it's not good right now, it should be good later. But I guess either way, I would have been fine keeping the second 2-drop and putting the Hydra's Growth back as well. Again, considering we had the shuffle effect. But anyway. 2-2. I don't have a lot to do with the ability. I mean, there are things that can help with my graveyard. Like, obviously I can bring things back from the graveyard directly to play. So, I won't say it's completely irrelevant, the ability on this card, but for the most part in this deck, it's going to be irrelevant. So, the opponent hasn't played anything. Feels a little bit like a waste, but I also don't want to just sit on my mana. So I'm going to do this and like just get it going. Like, I'll get in for 3. And the other thing too, the fact that we have the ability hopefully later in the game to bring stuff back from the graveyard, like I can get a little looser with plays like that I normally maybe wouldn't have. So I'm not too worried about this. Like, this is a good card. It's a 2-2 though. And we're going to go through another turn where they're tapped out. Worst case scenario, next turn I can cantrip. See another card. Nothing wrong with that. I'll hang on. Oh, there we go. See, that will be good eventually. Once we get to the point where we need it. For right now, I'll use this. I'll cantrip. Be nice to hit that second green, but at the same time, I don't want to not necessarily use the amulet for black, but we'll wait it out. We'll kind of see what we draw the next turn and see what we have to do. 5-4. Trampler coming in pretty quick, so I don't hate that. I mean, this deck's looking good so far. Also, too, with the wings, now if they do put down a blocker, even another 2-2, we can put the thing in the air and hopefully still get some damage. Alright, they want to cantrip too. So that tells me they don't have a lot going on if they're using that card on that. It does give them a little bit of width, and they also might think, okay, you know what, now we're going to block this, but the wings are out there. Maybe they're still thinking they can race too. That's potentially their plan. But they missed their land drop, I believe, right? That could be problematic for them. And with this... Oh yeah, I forgot too. The Hydra's Growth was on there, so yeah, it's getting even bigger. So yeah. So there's not much they could do, I mean, other than try to race. I'm just going to put this thing in the air and just hit for 7. That feels good, right? They're tapped out. They only have 3 mana. Like, if they don't have an answer for that, game's over. Put another flyer in the air just to make things more difficult for them. Now, they could have, like, a Shatter. Was it Shatter the Wrath? 2 white and 2. Which I play all the time in Standard and can't think of the name of it. But, and yeah, if they do, okay, they sweep the board, fine. But then we have Rise to Glory, so... Yeah, I think we got this one. Also, another green gives us another really big play, too. And it looks like they probably missed their land drop again, so... They're thinking. Yeah, the opponent, I don't know what they could have done. That was a pretty good start. I guess the Hydra's Growth was a good move. It was a little risky, though. We could have got 2 for 1. If we did, this would have been a very different game, clearly. I mean, they must have a play. That, yeah, Omen. Alright, they gain 2 life. It doesn't save them, though. Yeah, that's it. Wow, okay. So, I mean, part of that was our opponent stumbling on lands. So I want to go as far as to say, wow, our deck's amazing now, but it was pretty good. It did well. Move on to the second game. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing I want to change with the deck. It feels like it's working. I think it's going to be awkward when it comes to our draws, though. I think this deck's going to mulligan. I don't think it's always going to mulligan well. Those 2 swamps can be really tough. Also, not having enough white sometimes could be tough. I like this hand, though. I mean, we just need another land for it to really take off, and we have the Nessian Wanderer. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. Broadside Lion, I mean, really great card. And we can cast it. Don't know if I'll cast it on turn 2. Probably not. A lot of times I found myself holding on to the card a little bit to the point where, okay, I can play it and make it indestructible if I needed to. A quick start by the opponent there. This shows you how good Sentinel's Eyes can be. Alright, that was a nice draw. But we didn't get a land. But that's fine. That's fine. We're still in a good spot here. I'm going to put this out. This is a good blocker, first off. And also could lead us to maybe getting some land. I'm going to block here. Now, my opponent probably has a trick. And this is maybe a little riskier than it needed to be, because if I don't draw land, I'm not in trouble. I mean, I have other plays, and that's why I decided to do this. But it did get that card out of their hand, which I did not hate. Which, if I didn't block, they would have just probably hit me for 2. So I think ultimately that turned out to be the right decision. If I thought more about it, I don't know if I would have tried to make that block, just because I was a little nervous about hitting lands. But we hit a land, and we right now we got a 4/4 creature, so with vigilance. So I don't hate that. Now if they attack in, since I can't make this indestructible without the mana, probably don't really want to take any risks. But now that the mana is open, we'll attack in. And we'll get by. Okay. So I'm just going to play this, leave open the green and white, just in case. And we still have a play. We now have some damage in the air, and also a creature with a pretty relevant ability, so nothing wrong with that. At some point, the Dreadful Agony could hit that 3/4 if necessary. I want to wait a little bit, just kind of see what the opponent puts out there, if they put out something better, but they are down to 2 cards at this point, so at some time I might be able to just try to crush in. I'm playing this a little conservative. I'm just going to attack in, hold back the mana for indestructible. If they take it, it's 5. That's significant. If not, I'm going to kind of get something out of it. Let's get rid of this Pious Wanderer, or Wayfarer. Someday I'll learn the names of these cards. Someday. Okay. So I like that, but obviously they had a trick there. Alright, fine. But that also brings them down to 1 card. And all the more reason to play conservatively, because as you saw, another option I could have had is I could have gone Hydra's Growth on that thing, and maybe even Dreadful Apathy, but then I would have really gotten blown out, right? So I would have lost the Hydra's Growth as well as the... Now I got the Lion's Enchantment even on a creature, which is not an amazing creature, but it's something. Okay, so they play... I mean, it's a little annoying they got that blocker out there. But I do have options. They are down to 1 card. I mean, I have 4 cards at my disposal, kind of, sort of. Not the Sentinel's Eyes yet, but I will. And eventually, if I hit that second green, probably be in real nice shape. So my plan now is, okay, we're at 13, they're at 20. We got to start doing something before they draw into anything. So let's go with it. Let's take the risk. We play the Hydra's enchantment, and now we got a 2/3 flyer that's going to keep growing. It's going to get real annoying fast, and to protect myself in the meantime, I think it's time to go with the Dreadful Apathy on that 2/3. So then they're just left with 1/2, 1/1, 1/1. So we get a little damage across. Protect ourselves a little bit by playing this. And at some point you want to make the decision as far as, I don't want that Sentinel's Eyes to go to the graveyard. So it's better in this case to keep this as a pacifism as opposed to getting rid of the creature. Citizen's Champion can be dangerous because this could lead to card draw depending on what they draw into. But they do have to draw into some enchantments, which might be easier said than done. So, and the clock's running now because this creature is getting bigger and bigger. We don't hit the green. But we get some damage in, and we got a 2-drop. I could have held that green for indestructible on the flyer if I wanted to, but again, they're really low on cards. They're playing off the top of their deck. I'm going to take the risk and be a little more aggressive just because I want to put them away if I can. Scry 2 to the bottom, good. They didn't find anything, but maybe they will now. Card gets bigger. No land for us, though. Still stuck on the 5 lands. They're not chumping with that 1/2 flyer, so they are concerned. They might have some big enchantments in their deck. I would assume they have a lot of enchantments with the Citizen Champion. And that's where things get dangerous. If they chain a few things together, we could be in trouble. Now this time I did hold back on my green instead of playing the Skirmisher, because I felt like we're in a decent spot. I mean, if they start getting overzealous with attacking, we could crack back. They're down to 10. So I just figured let's play a little safer now, because in theory, I mean, they have the chump blocker, but if we did get a removal spell that we could play, then we win, because there will be, well, yeah, we would be up to, yeah, we would have 4 more counters on that, and then we'd have the 1/2 in the air. So yeah, so they're coming in with a few things. They're being aggressive. We are at 13. So I want to be a little bit safe here and make a block with the card that really doesn't matter too much for what's going on. If I don't make that block, we're at 9, and things could start to get a little awkward considering what they have on the battlefield. Alright, second green's huge. We're going to do our attack first. They could block it. They take it, though. They do not want to lose that 1/2. And now let's just deal with their card draw possibility. I didn't catch that they were tapped out here. I could have gotten rid of the flyer and just hit for 10, but I missed it. Luckily, that mistake shouldn't cost me. Yeah, that's game. Alright, not bad. 2-0. So, once you get through those first 2 games, you start seeing more decks that are a little more, not necessarily that the players are better, but players that are more in tune to what the bots kind of prioritize less. Start seeing a lot of the same decks. Start seeing a lot of green, I believe, in this set, if I remember correctly. Green and black, I think, have a lot of cards that are undervalued by the bots. So we'll start running into a lot of similar decks over the course of the next few games. But it is what it is. I'll be happy when we get actual draft against people on here, so you don't see that, because it does become kind of a drag. Like, I have noticed drafts are a lot of fun, like the first week, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I'm playing the same decks over and over and over again, and you feel forced to play those decks too. You start taking those same cards, and it just gets boring quick. Alright, I don't love this. 2 white, no green. As we saw, we might have trouble getting green. This is worse? well, not worse, because at least I can play the 2/2. I'm going to keep this. And here's why. Because I'll get rid of the heavier card. Okay, got lucky there. Drew the green. I mean, that was a little bit of a gamble. Maybe I should have mulliganed. But I have the 2 drop. And then if I can just draw into a green mana, or I can draw into another small white creature, I would have been okay. So it was a risk, though. Definitely. Alright. I mean, depending on what my opponent does, I could just run out the Hydra's Growth again like I did last time, but I'm going to try to be a little more conservative. They put a creature out they can't block, though, so that's an option. But this is also an option, too. I can block this creature with a 1/4 and make them use a combat trick or something to deal with this. Maybe even gain some life if they can't deal with it, so I think that's a good play there. A little more conservative, less aggressive, but I think in the long run, that's where you want to go. I mean, I don't like running out Hydra's Growth on turn 3. Let them blow up some stuff first with their removal. Like, if they want to use something to buff their creature or whatever and get rid of this, throw another card out of their hand. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. We get the amulet. Not that we really need it at this point, but it's fine. This will gain us a couple life, give us a little more board presence. I mean, I don't really feel like running my stuff right into that 4-1 necessarily at this point. Thin the deck a little bit. Grab another green. I mean, I could attack with one of those things, but I don't think it's really worth it. They would trade, and that could later come back to haunt me out of the graveyard. Alright, that's a good card. In this type of deck, where you can get a quick 4-power creature out, that's going to be problematic. We're going to need answers. Pumping that a little bit, at the expense, though, of the toughness. So I think we're just going to have to trade, if they attack with it. If you're not attacking with it, then what are you doing with it, right? Can't block. And it can come back later, so if you lose it, whatever. So can the enchantment. Okay. So now it's a weird situation. Do I hold on to this and hope that something better comes along, like a flyer that I can put it on and not use my mana? Or do I do something? Because at some point you can't sit there and do nothing, right? So putting it on that creature pumps the other creature too. Not that that's really relevant in this case. And again, it doesn't make anything big enough for a profitable attack, so I'm just kind of sitting back. What this could do for me, though, is at least give me a blocker against the horn beetle, which is growing. Ooh, but that's awkward. There goes my Hydra's effect there. So, yeah. That's not good for us. Okay, that's good for us, though. Dreadful Apathy is going to help a ton here, because that card's out of control, and now it's not anymore. The other thing is, there's no enchantments on it or anything like that, so this might be a good time to actually exile the card so it doesn't end up at some point in the graveyard. It also gets my enchantment back in the graveyard, which I could maybe bring back later. So I don't have anything else to do with my mana other than hold up a bluff. Sure, let's just go ahead and do that. They have 3 cards in there, but 2 of the cards they would like to bring back, which is a little awkward. We got none of those 3/1 Leonins in this deck, which I usually like to have like 1 or 2 to deal with stuff like that, but we don't have that. Okay, that's kind of nice. All right, now we're talking. And we're already at 26 life, so that's pretty good. Potentially we could get damage across with this. Well, there goes that idea. Potentially we could have got damage across with this and gain life, but now it is just knocked out. So things are not looking good. I mean, we still have a lot of life. And now we gotta start thinking, okay, I'll trade you. Take a little damage. Puts another card in the graveyard to bring something back, but they are going to lose some of their other cards with escape if they do that. Which I don't hate. But again, we just are in a situation where we don't have a lot going for us right now. Just a 3/3. I'm just going to take this 7. I'm still pretty high on life. I can afford to do that. But I need to hit not. I don't remember how this game ends, but I'm starting to figure it out. Kind of thinking we're not winning this one. Hit back for 3. I mean, what's in our deck that can help us? I suppose if we're able to bring the pacifism effect back, that could help a lot. go now down to 9. Another land. We're just getting flooded here now. That's how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. And our opponent has 3, 4, 5, 6 lands. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna lose this one. Too many lands. If we get a hit something, I think we still had a chance. We weren't out of it. But that doesn't appear to be happening at this point. So next turn I'm going to have to block probably at least the 2-3. Assuming they don't have anything else I can do. Nothing in my graveyard here up. Yeah, there you go. So that's game right 4, 5, well, 7. But pretty much game, because I don't think there's any plays in my deck that are going to come back from that. And I think that actually it's 8, right? They get a buff on combat. Oh, well, that'll do it. Yup. Yup, yup. There's their 1/1 buff, too. Yup. Okay. So we're 2-1 with this deck. That was a tough one, though. Like, I felt like it was a kind of a tough keep, although a lot of them are. Alright, let's move on. Another game. Try not to lose. So I assume the way this works too is now I'll get paired down to somebody else who has a loss most likely. So hoping for another easier win, but I don't know, like I said, this deck's consistency is not 100% by any means. When it's good, though, it's good. But it has its flaws, no doubt. No doubt. Taking a little time here to find somebody. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. A little land heavy, but I'm not going to complain. All my colors are here. And even though I don't have a turn 1 or turn 2 play at this point, the opponent goes first. We're going to see another card. If I start putting these 1/4s with reach out on turn 3, they can also gain me life, maybe. Then I'm going to feel pretty good. So, yeah, this feels great, actually. Real happy with this. We'll keep, especially for this deck, it's a good keep. Okay, so I said we're land heavy. What are we going to draw? Land. Never fails. So, but I'm still okay with this. Like, it's still fine. They might have a little bit of an aggressive streak in their deck. Maybe. We'll see. It is Azore's colors, though, so maybe not. Quick 2/2 that wants to buff other things around it. Kind of interesting. But they could be using it as a curve filler. I mean, that's why I was using it more than anything. Alright, that's aggressive. Alright. Puts us in the spot. We're going to play this card. And now I can block the 3/2, but I'm still going to be taking like another 2 at least. It's real awkward if they put something on that 2/2 and buff the 3/2. Looks like that's what's happening. Yup. Plane going by now. I usually, when I'm doing my regular videos, I stop when a plane goes by. Which can be quite annoying sometimes. Alright, so I got another one of these. Similar situation again, though. Like, they could really blow me out. But I'm down to 11. Like, we're in trouble here. This could be loss number 2 pretty easily, and they continue to go wide, so. Okay. We can get rid of this. That's the most problematic thing right now. So let's do that. That's part 1. Now we still have a 3/2 and a 2/3 coming at us. We can block the 3/2. We'll gain 2 life there, which is nice. We dealt with that 3/3 creature too. Okay. So, they could have a trick. I'm going to try to get this off the battlefield. Block there. Okay, so that worked out. I'm fine with that exchange. And now we can actually recover a little bit. Because let's put this on the battlefield. And what do I want to get rid of here? Probably... I mean, granted, if they flicker the 2-3, they'll be annoying, but... Or well, they're both 2-3s. What is that? Elios? If they flicker that card, then that's annoying. But if I fight the other 2-3, that's an ability that could really be relevant all the time. So I think we get rid of the hidden coves there. So we'll fight that. Now that puts us in a nice spot. Okay. All right. That's fine. They're going to gain a couple life, get a couple 1-1s. So now they have the 2-3 and a couple 1-1s, but we got a really good blocking situation here. They can't just attack in unless they have something to do. Okay, so another small creature. Also, too, remember, they could still target. Actually, does that? And I don't remember if that nullifies abilities. Triggered abilities. I don't think it does. So at some point, I probably do want to get rid of the Hero of the Pride. But in the meantime, let's put this on, gain a couple life, and let's take something out here. Now this is nice because it creates a situation where we gained a bunch of life. Got rid of that 2-3, which again, if they had a flicker effect or something, that could have been super annoying. And now I have a creature that can attack in. You know, they can block, sure. But now we got something on them. We can get a little more aggressive, which is nice. They take the hits, and we're going to get rid of this. I mean, it gives them another card in their graveyard, sure, which maybe matters. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Can't attack or block. So, but again, if they targeted that with something, it gives them more options, especially considering it does look like their plan is to go wide, and we don't need that. All right, they're looking at their top of their deck, so hopefully they miss 2 top. Okay, they like what they saw, so we're probably in trouble. We did, okay, they got rid of that. Fine. But they don't have much else going on right now. Not that we do either, but we're kind of like back at parity in a way, in 20 and 19. I'll play this. I mean, it's not the most ideal place to put it, but then I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing. Don't get rid of that. There we go. We could get that back. And that will be amazing. Alright, but we gain a couple life. And now I can attack with this thing. I mean, they take the 2, but we did something. Right, and they like, that's their second card that they liked, and good reason to like it. But we can also block that. Now, this was a nice draw. If they can't get rid of this, I mean, they do have a blocker, sure, but they'll have to chomp, and we can keep gaining life with this. We'll hold back. I mean, we were really close to losing this game, like, just a couple minutes ago, and things turned around nicely. Even with those top decks that the scries they kept on top. Alright, that's a good card. I mean, that's something we have to be wary of, but we do have a lot of life right now, too, so. Alright. That can change a lot. Okay. So, we could do Waybearer Blessing and the Band Brawler. Or the Dreadful Apathy. I guess you could, it doesn't really matter. I mean, any way you slice it, like, we take 2 of those cards back. And this is just deflating. So you have to click on both. There's our creature coming back that's going to fight. And then we'll also go with... They called it quits. They were at 18 too, but I mean, that was pretty devastating. So, I mean, I probably wouldn't have conceded there. I don't know what's in their hand, but it didn't feel like we necessarily won that game for sure, but probably at that point. taking out their 2 best creatures and then being able to attack in again. Pretty relentless. Alright. So we are, what, 3-1 now? This deck is doing good. I cannot complain so far. Alright, let's go ahead and start the next. Come on, good opening hand. That's the thing I worry the most about this deck. I don't need to see like 2 plains and a swamp and all green cards in our hand. Feels like this deck can do that. We've already seen it at least once, right? Yikes. No planes. So I'm gonna keep it. It's risky, but here's the deal. Even if we drew another forest or a swamp, turn 4 we got a nice play, and it paid off. It paid off. Okay. So now we do have that. We have a couple 2-drops open to us. So now it's a great hand, but we really needed that. I think that was the right call, considering we were on the play. We were gonna see another card. And also the amulet on top of it if push came to shove. And we had a really good 4-drop and potentially some other stuff happening. So, felt pretty good. The opponent, I think, are trying to mill us. Milling us is not the worst thing if they want to mill us a couple times. They seem to be thinking about it. I don't know if they want to mill themselves, depending on what's in their deck. But if they mill us, we can bring stuff back, right? So... well, they hit one of our really good removal spells, but again, we could bring it back, like we did last game. This is sticking right now for me. I remember the little bit of slowdown today for the Magic Online or the Magic Arena. Okay, there's that plane. My options here, I could go bigger with the 2/2. I'm not gonna block that 2/1 with it though. So instead I went with the 1/2 flyer because that can actually start getting some damage across, and it can potentially also do something, make things cheaper, so depending on what we draw. So that's what I went with. If they attack in, then I take 2, whatever. Is our opponent missing a land drop here? No, there they go. But no play though. I wonder if they're missing a color. You could do Mono Blue Devotion definitely in draft, but you don't see that a lot. At least I haven't. I see more of the Mono Black, Mono White. But again, playing on Arena with the bots, maybe if you play with regular people drafting, maybe it becomes a little more possible. Okay, yeah, no play, no land drop, so they might be in trouble. So that tells me let's crank the gas here. Put down our 4/4, attack in for 1. I can use the Sentinel's Eyes to next turn, make that a 5/5 Vigilance if I want to. Or I could put that on the 3/3, buff everything else for more of an impact. Also spread stuff out a little bit, so that way if they do have a removal spell, they don't just blow up all my stuff. That might not be bad. Okay, again, probably don't desperately need this amulet. I could grab another planes with it that could be helpful in the future. So... just deciding here, where's the best place to put the eyes on. I mean, you just throw it on the 4/4 and have a 5/5, that's fine. Again, I kind of like the play of putting it on the 2/2 though. Like, especially since they are stumbling a little bit. And if they do find a removal spell, that would really help them recover. So of course, play the Wardens first, so we gain some life. Still debating it where I want to put this thing. I kind of like the Hero of the Pride. I mean, although they can still block. I mean, I guess I would get 2 across in the air if I did that. Oh, they're playing. I think it was a helicopter this time. Yeah, it sounds like a helicopter really low. Alright. Sentinel's Eyes. There you go. So, yeah, I went with that. I mean, the issue is I still don't want to attack him with the 5/4 necessarily, right? Well, if I do, though, I think what I was thinking here, you know what? If I do, they got no board presence. So, and I can always bring that back later. Actually, I don't even know what's in my graveyard. I might be able to bring it back really soon. So they hit that. That's fine. That was actually great for us. Yeah, I like that play. Again, being a little more aggressive because they are stumbling, obviously, on lands, I think is the right thing to do there. Even if they were able to double block and take out more of our stuff, some of our bigger things, then where are they, right? They have no board presence and they have to rely on their top decks. Still puts us in a nice spot. And hopefully we'll top deck into some nice things too with any luck, you know. So with the ability to later bring the Typhon back, yeah, they must have had some mana issues there. I assume they didn't get their second color. And that was pretty painful. So a couple of games we won was because of mana issue. Although we lost one because of mana issues too. That's magic. Alright. Alright, let's start this next game. See how far we can get with this deck. Yeah, I'm really nervous about my draws with this thing, but we'll see. That seems to have been the biggest issue, more so than the lack of card draw, which surprises me a little bit. I thought that would be the bigger issue. Yeah, this is great. Sure. I mean, eventually we'll hit a swamp. But we got some good early plays here. Our opponent mulligans. Red. So they're going to be a little aggressive maybe. If they are, we could have a little bit of damage coming, but I love having Nexus Warden if they are aggressive. But now that we see the green, it looks like maybe they're going to go big. Which might be harder for us to deal with in some cases. We just have to hit our removal spells. We did get to Final Death, but we still need to hit that swamp. And we have Warbriar Blessing, but we don't really have anything great to fight with. What's nice about this is even if this does buff to a 3/4, now the 1/4 can block it pretty handily. Unless they want to use another card. Now that's a little more destructive. Okay. Well, that was nice. That's going to help for sure next turn. I mean, here's the situation. I mean, there's nothing I can really do with this Warbriar Blessing, so it's all about what I'm attacking with now. I think I just attack in with a 1/2 in the air. Hold that back. I can then block the 3/4 and take 4. Maybe more if they buff it or something, though. We'll see what they have. Only 3 cards in hand, though, so they're going through their stuff pretty quick. It looks like they had kind of a nice sort of mid-rangey draw that's paying off for them, but if they don't have a lot else, then maybe we're okay. They didn't play anything. You don't see a lot of, like, flash in these colors. I mean, a little bit, of course, but in this set. Red especially, I guess you have to be careful of. Let's get rid of that. That was great, because now they can't even bring that back with the exile there. I just attacked in with the 1/2. I can keep the 1/4 back to block. Yeah, that's not... I mean, it's not bad for them, but it's not amazing. Especially considering we're going to be able to drop some bigger stuff now. Starting with this. Attack first. Just see if they have any tricks. They got 3 mana open. Play this. Next turn it can fight. Then we can always bring the Warbriar Blessing back. I think that's the path of victory here. Warbriar Blessing, fight like the 2/3 or whatever they put out there, and then bring it all back and do it again later. Whenever we need to or have to. They're not playing much, so I'm not really sure what they have. They have a lot of land. I mean, they could be missing a third color, I suppose, but that'd be kind of weird in the set. So I'm anticipating some kind of combat trick. They let that go. I'm gonna just attack in. If they got something, again, not the end of the world. We can bring this all back. Okay, they got that. That's fine. We got another one where that came from. I mean, they can rummage a little bit if they are, like, very land heavy. Maybe that they just got all lands in their hand or something. Then they can find some heat. They're not done yet, but that's something. I mean, okay, that makes it a lot better. Draw a card off of it. Now, if they blocked with both, they could kill our creature. Oh, not anymore. That's gonna hurt. And again, we're in a situation where we get rid of that card, so it can't come back to haunt us later. They probably take the 5 here, I'd imagine. They might need that 1/3 to keep rummaging. Okay, the Satyr can't block, so that's good. Keep attacking. They got, what, 1 red open. Keep going wide. And we still have the Rise to Glory if we need it. I mean, I could just take the removal spell back if I needed to. And the other little flyer. I think that's what's in our graveyard right now. But it's nice to have it in case they do something. Oh, that's kind of something. Does make it so we can't easily get by the way things stand right now. So, I mean, I could do one of two things here. I'm going to play this a little slow, because we're at 22 life, right? What do we got to lose? If you overcommit, then you don't want to get blown out by some board sweep. You have Storm's Wrath in red. So I like that play, because I played the second flyer in case they did put out a flyer. They had a lot of work to do to stay alive next turn, and if they did it somehow, I still had the other option to fall back on. So, there you go. Not bad, not bad. 2 more wins we need to get, right? Yeah. That's 5 wins. So, we have a loss to give as well. Hopefully we won't have to, but feeling more and more confident with this deck. When it has good games, it has good games, right? In the game we lost, we got flooded pretty badly, so... yeah, this is good. This is great. We'll take this. Very, very good hand. think I'll go Nessian Wanderer first. I mean, Bronze-Hide Lion, I'd like to hang on to a little bit. Not just run it out there and get it killed with no creatures in the battlefield, definitely. So we'll play some other things. We have tons of options here. Ultimately, I think I'm going to go with this. Just in case we're going to run out of lands. We only have a forest in our hand. But this is going to allow me to keep pulling lands, which is pretty awesome. So I could go with either of my 2/2s, or either of my 2-drops that are enchantments will trigger it. So wonderful. And it's a nice blocker. The flyer can get over the wall. All good stuff. Go with a plains here. We did 2 forests. That's pretty comfortable now. I'll try to keep my plains and forests even for the Bronze-Hide Lion as much as possible. Triggers again. We hit a swamp. Could come in handy later. This is great. Alright. They attack with the 2/4. Easy block with the 1/3. We don't even really need that anymore at this point. If something happened to it. Okay, the 3/3 slows us down. I mean, that's a barrier. We have to get to the point where we're playing something larger. Ultimately, I can play the 4/4 and then try to get it in the air. Like, that's how we're going to continue to do damage, probably. If they take it out, it could be a grindy game. There it goes. And I can also play the bird. Game's still early. I mean, if they get rid of this 4/4 in the air, they're in a great spot. Even though our draw was excellent. I could play this. I don't think I want to run it out at this point, though. I think I'm just going to play the other flyer. Or I could play the other 2. It doesn't really matter, because I can dig for a land with either one. And this is a little more defensive, I suppose. But this one also, if I can get rid of that 3/3 at some point, like if my next draw is a removal spell, the flyer would be better. So it just depends. I mean, I don't know. This to me is a coin flip. I go with the flyer. I think that's fine. I mean, it's a little more aggressive in some ways, but they don't have anything out right now anyway on the ground that I care that much about. And I get another land out of the deal. It's nice also having the Traveler's Amulet in this deck as a shuffle effect. I mean, because A, it doesn't always draw into good hands I might be mulliganing. And B, if I'm putting a lot of good stuff at the bottom of my library as I'm digging for lands, it could kind of even things out a little bit, which is nice too. But hopefully I trigger that thing so many times I'm just flying through my deck is the idea. Thinning it out as you go. Only 3 cards in hand. They got a decent board state, though. It's going to slow us down a little bit. Again, especially if they can get rid of that flyer. They keep both cards on top, so that's a little dangerous. They like what they saw. Well, land comes down. Okay, that's probably what they saw. Plummet. Yeah, you got it. Now we need something a little more sizable to get by in the air now, or a removal spell to really start to be able to do something. We're both at 20 life. Yeah, that's not really it. I mean, I can keep building up board presence, but there's not a lot of opportunities to get by. I mean, for either of us, really. Although, I don't know. Now that that's gone, yeah, I would say maybe if they could attack him with a 3/3, but I don't think that's great for them either, because sure, they can get rid of, if I just, at least before I played that flyer, they could have got rid of one of my birds in the air if I chumped, but yeah, maybe they should have been attacking him with the 3/3. But they really only had, I think, one opportunity to do that. Because now they don't really anymore. They don't want to lose the 3-3. If we can get rid of the flyer, we're golden. They're down to 2 cards. They are attacking now, though. I'm going to take it and just try to crack back. I mean, sure. They're probably got to... Yeah, shatter the sky. Nice. Okay, okay. So, I don't hate that because we keep the wings. We still have creatures in our hand. We're going to be able to recast that huge creature with all the stuff going to the graveyard. So I definitely don't hate that play. Yeah, look what we got in the graveyard now. Let's play that giant creature and then stick some wings on it. How's that sound? Oh, and a removal spell to boot. Alright. So we should be good here. Play this. Can't put the wings on it this turn, but that's fine. Can't attack this turn either. Get rid of 4 cards. Four. Yup. Seven. And they only have 1 card in hand. I mean, it could be a creature that they held back. Okay, there we go. They got a couple chump blockers, but guess what? We can put this in the air next turn. The bigger thing with this card is the Scry, if they can find something to deal with this, a removal spell. I'm a little scared of another plummet, but I don't know who would main deck a second plummet, right? In best of 1. 2 to the bottom, okay, that's good, but they might hit something. Chair squeaky too. Again, when I do my regular videos and the chair squeaks, I stop. If I got a new chair, I could probably get videos out quicker. Those are the things I'm thinking about right now. Not so much this game. I think we won this. Alright, so 7/7 in the air. Again, I mean, how much do I want to, like, I could throw the Hydra's growth on it, but, like, then if they blow it up, where am I, right? Or save the Hydra's growth for another win condition. Because the Hydra's growth eventually would turn anything else probably into a win condition over time. We'll just do that. Play it, go wide. Now they're in a lot of trouble. I mean, they'll have 2 cards. Okay, they play another one of these. Alright. And they're going to draw another card. And ultimately, again, I think the big benefit to this is they can scry too. So I think that's what we're going to see here pretty quickly, I would imagine. There it is. Interesting that they're holding up 3 white. They must have something. What costs 3 white in the set? 3 white and 1. Or 3 white. Well, they got a card in hand, but they don't do anything. We can continue to go wide. I mean, I'm just doing this. We can always bring this stuff back too, right? We haven't used our enchantment or our sorcery yet that lets us do that, so I'm just attacking with everything. I had to put pressure on before they draw into something good. And we got the advantage now. Let's take advantage of it. We're gonna lose that. That's fine. They can have it. They go down to 6. If they can't solve the flyer, that's it. I mean, the Hydra's, I guess the Hydra's growth probably wasn't necessary. They'd be at 7 right now without it. And the creature would be a 7/7, so that might have been a little overkill. Probably it could have been a waste of that card even. So probably not the best thing to do. Although I didn't know they were going to take necessarily the other 2 damage. So, yeah, that's true. So, when you think about it that way, that does maybe get this over a turn earlier. Okay. So, we got to win one more game to get there. We are 6-1. So let's jump in. Let's try to do it. Let me know your thoughts on gameplay videos. It seems like people like them when I do them. I used to do them from time to time, but I don't necessarily get a lot of views on them either. So I get a lot of good comments, but I understand that, you know, the channel has a certain audience and it might not necessarily care about gameplay as much or watching me play. So, I don't know, let me know your thoughts on it. We'll ultimately see what the views look like. But the thing is, with everything going on, I'm watching a lot of like long YouTube videos about lots of random stuff right now just to keep something on, even in the background while I work and stuff. And I think a lot of people would appreciate that. So I mulligan that first hand because of mana, and I'm mulliganing this one because of mana. Yeah, 2 lands, no green. The best cards in our hand are the larger green cards. So, yeah, not good. We're going to have to put 2 back. This is manageable, but still not great. No white. And this is what I've been talking about, the dangers of this deck. We're seeing it happen right now. Hydra's Growth, yeah. I mean, we got the 1/4 for 3. That's a thing. If we draw into a Plains, wonderful, we got another card, but this is not looking too good for us. We have to draw real well, and our opponent probably has to stumble for us to get past this one. Especially considering, again, this is, you know, one of the final games on the ladder, so their deck should be pretty decent. There's the Nexus Warden. Drew another Nexus Warden, so that's interesting at least. Yeah, so as I was saying, so maybe some of these longer videos might help you out a little bit. Something to put on even in the background. I just attacked there since I'm going to play another one. I can always block with the second one. If they that's annoying. If they blow it up, they blow it up. What's annoying about that is now my plan's got to be get that flyer online. Because that 4/4 is going to die to the Death Touch creature. Well, that's kind of nice. I mean, I could use it to get rid of the Death Touch creature. But I lose a creature, you know, in the process of doing that. I don't love that. What I would like better is to get the flyer online and then maybe be able to use that on the flyer to take something out, perhaps in the air even, or use that on the 4/4 to take out a larger creature later. But we really need to hit a Plains here at some point or we're in trouble. 5/3. I think we just take that. What's nice about the Wardens is we can gain lots of life. I mean, it'd be, again, nice to hit something. Now we got a creature. That's cool. Hold things back a little bit. I mean, they could have attacked with the Moss Viper. Maybe it's a little early for that. Well, they got mana. I don't know if they needed more mana. No, it's more pressure, too, with that card. Okay. Considering our slow start, that could actually hurt. And this is awkward, too. Like, do I block with my 4/4 and not use the fight ability? I think I just kind of have to take what's coming at me. I'm going to block one of the 3/3s with the 1/4 for sure. I mean, if they got a trick, they got a trick. But I don't want to take 7 here. But maybe I can get by taking 4. Then I can kill the 4/3. And gain life at the same time. We could gain a lot of life, actually. Okay, get rid of this. Gain life. Still no white mana. Play this. Gain life. Puts us back to 17. Nothing wrong with that. There's not a lot of places for us to go. And also, like, any situation where they attack in with something, we block it. I mean, they can sack it to draw a card now, too. They got plenty of mana. So the resources are definitely in their favor. We still can't hit a plains. Ouch. Ouch. I mean, the ability doesn't even do anything for us. Don't want to attack in with a 4/6 just to get it killed by the 1/1. Nothing to do. Ouch, okay. So they're going to take back that 4/3. And they can scry on top of it. Keep hitting heat. Yes, not boding well for us. Unless they completely miss here, but still. Even if they miss, it gets them closer to what they need. Scrying's good. Alright. I'm a little surprised in some way. I mean, I guess if you attack in with the Moss Viper, I can always block it with the 2/2. That doesn't really matter that much. So maybe not. They got a little more aggressive, though, with it. It could force me into some tough situations, considering they're kind of running away with things, you know? But you never know. You never know. I mean, if I pull something big and come back, I do have black in my deck, so I mean, a big removal spell or something. And as far as they know, I'm playing Golgari right now, so. I'm just going to chump that so I don't take 6. Don't want to go down to 11, especially considering at this time I have no play in my hand. Another one, okay. Now they can get more aggressive with those if they want to. But we get our white. Alright, alright. I think it's a little too late, honestly, but I'm going to go slow, though, and not put out the best flyer yet, just in case they have plummet or something. This also gains me life as well. I'm going to get 4 life out of it, so that's good, too. Another sizable creature. A little more fragile, but it can come back, too. No attacks at all. I'm a little surprised they didn't get slightly more aggressive with this. I mean, I guess at this point I could just take the Moss Viper damage. It wouldn't matter that much. And it does keep some stuff off their back, but... ultimately here I'm just going to attack in with a 1/2. Get some damage in there. Play this. A little awkward to get it now, but alright, whatever. Could've used that a while ago. Imagine if we had that like in our opening hand or like early on instead of the other two, the 2/2 for 2 that we chumped with. Yeah, that could have been a very different game, actually. We could have been beaten down in the air. The life gain really saved us this game. I mean, we're stable. They could attack in with stuff, and we can still take it, and then we have the life gain on the 2/3 that we can activate. Although, we only have 1 plane, so if we want to play a white spell, you know, well, or it can just get killed, so, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. Alright. And now everything's showing up. Late to the party. Yeah, we're in a tough spot, though, at this point. Again, they can start sacking creatures to draw cards if they need to. They're going to see a lot more cards. Thin the deck a little bit. Get another plains out there. Now our opponent is like, oh, they're playing Selesnya with a splash of black. Sucks to be them. Yeah, just get to what they need to put us away. And smart. Smart. No reason to wait. I mean, if they could hit a good removal spell, a flyer, or if they got anything. I mean, Black-green doesn't have tons of flyers, but they do have them. There's that 1/5/5 that makes everybody discard. And if they have that, that probably would be game ending. We still missed land. How is that possible? Barely have any land. We used their shuffle effect too, which is kind of bad. Oh wow, okay. That's game. Plukranos Unchained is not going to be easy to beat at this point, because now they can start fighting everything we have. Get rid of that flyer, now they're not taking any damage, and still also might hurt our land issue at this point even. Still kind of a slow, painful grind though, right? Like we're still at 25. I don't know. Does this do anything for us at this point? Gains us life. But I also don't want to throw it out there. I mean, maybe the smart thing to do is just play it and gain 4 life. But, like, there's nothing to do with it, right? And if it gets stuck on some creature and I can't attack with a creature because of Death Touch or something, it just gets real awkward real fast. I mean, granted, if the creature dies, I can always play it again, sure. But I kind of want to save it for, like, a flyer or something. Or even a larger, I don't know, something with the bronze, the bronze hide lion, the lion with indestructible. I mean, it could be decent, although even that can't get by unless I buff it with something else. At least not right now. Okay, they're getting rid of those life gain cards, which, yeah, totally, totally. So, I mean, if I played that, I would have had 4 more life, but again, I wouldn't have anything to do with the Sentinel's Eyes. Maybe it's a better play, because you at least got something out of it that now I'm not going to get out of it, but I don't know. Probably better than hanging on to it, considering I don't know if hanging on to it's going to help that much at this point either. Opponent's very thoughtful, though. I'll give the opponent that. I mean, I think I would just be slamming here, right? Like, it's a little annoying that 4/6, but like, if you attacked him with the Moss Vipers, I would take the 2, but that's 2 more damage. Yeah, there they go. I mean, I can block like the 5/5, but then if I want to block those 4/3s, I'm losing stuff. What I decided to do is block a 4/3, get it off the battlefield, and take the 9, because I do have high life. Again, assuming they don't have a combat trick here. But they can also, yeah, they can also just sack it and draw a card. So, there you go. And they're going to pull ahead on resources. There's the lands. Now we're going to hit a ton of lands because we haven't hit any. Not much we can do. I mean, they're going to do the same thing here. Attacking with the 5/5 with the 4/3. Again, maybe even the Moss Vipers as our life total goes down and we don't seem to have anything. Okay. So similar thing here. Block the 4/3 and probably they just sack it. Take 5, go to 11. Yeah, this is one of those games where it shows, like, you mulligan, you have that really slow start, you couldn't hit any planes, and we were pretty stable for a while. Like, we did not lose the game because of the life gain, but the whole time they're getting ahead on resources, right? Like, they're drawing more cards than we are and putting down lands, and eventually you just lose to that, you know? So, what can you do? Put up a good fight. They played very carefully too and thoughtfully. I mean, they are respecting our card in our hand and our open mana, which is probably smart. You know, they could get a little more aggressive, considering it definitely looks like I've stumbled all game. Like, if they did get more aggressive, there could have been a situation where I would have had to block with some of these other creatures, and by now they could be really rolling over me, but, you know, they don't know that, you know? Like a Shatter the Sky, I could have that. That would be one incentive for them to maybe play a little faster and a little more aggressively, but obviously they're doing fine. Now, as I keep drawing lands, I'm just going to play this. And the reason for that is, okay, now I have a situation where I can block, all my removal spells are getting dumped to the bottom, I think, too. I can block the 5/5 with this, assuming, again, it lives. The Scry here is going to be good for them, too. Make sure they keep hitting heat as much as possible. This is a slow, painful one. Top and bottom. So, okay. I mean, they got something they liked. Probably enough to end this. Yeah, that helps them. Okay. Now they can go put that 5/5 in the air. It's a good card. Remember, too, that second ability, when you get somebody down, you can sack it. You're going to have to, you lose the creature at the end of the turn or at the end of combat. I forget which, but you can make the creature unblockable. So if they did have a chump blocker or something, you can still close out a game. Little risk, but it's there. So that will do it next turn. 7 in the air. We'll finish this if we don't have anything else. And even so, they can just attack with everything if they wanted to. That ain't gonna do it. Okay. Alright, so that brings us to I messed around. I wanted to see what my next few cards are. I mean, I could also gain, like, that. I was also thinking, well, I could gain 2 life and live another turn. I don't know what I'd do after that, though. But that's not even the case. I gained to 7. Still gonna take 7 in the air. Anyway. So that's 6 and 2, right? So it's the last game where they're gonna go 7 and 2 or 6 and 3. That's still good for this deck. Like 6 and 3. Like when I started this, I remember thinking, maybe I can do 5-6 wins if I'm lucky. But actually, the deck worked about better than I thought it would. Honestly, I went back there for a second. Sometimes I click over to, like, see something on the main screen, and then I hit play, and then I realize, oh, I'm in the wrong menu. I think I was just checking there to make sure I didn't do that. All right, last game. Can we do it? Can we do a 7 and 2 with this deck? I think that'd be good if we do. Okay, good opening hands, and one of each color. If we draw another forest, there you go. 4/4 on turn 4, perhaps. Any other land's gonna give us the flyer. We got a cantrip. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. Red. So I'm gonna assume this is a Gruul deck, though. Yep. It seems like Gruul is one of those color combinations you see a lot when you get to the higher portion of the ladder. I'm assuming, again, cards in these colors probably being undervalued by the bots in draft. But it feels like in Arena it's a good combination. Well, that's good. And they have the land. Good for them. Kind of erases their little advantage there. Especially with Gruul, that could mean something. So they can get into a big creature, a couple big creatures right now that could hurt a lot. But we're doing good. Like, that 4/4 is going to be able to fight with something. We got the cantrip in our hand still. We got the flyer eventually. So I think the plan is like ride the 4/4 enough so that if we can at least get their like life total down a little bit and they stabilize, then the flyer can finish them off. Kind of the game plan here now. So the question is, what do I want to blow up with this thing? Probably just the 4/5, like just the biggest creature. I mean, the Dryad is good, but it's not going to be as good later in the game, right? So I cantrip first and put the enchantment on that. I mean, you do run the risk too of getting, you know, the old 3-for-1 doing this, but at least, well, it won't be a 3-for-1 because I'm going to kill one of their creatures, but still. I needed to use both to get rid of the 4/5, so I'm just going to do it. And I got to see another card, which actually, another land, there's fine. Although the lands just keep coming. Okay, can't really attack, unfortunately, but that's fine. Got rid of the big creature. I have a sizable creature with trample on the battlefield. And we still got that 1/3 that's value. So they got 4 cards in hand. I mean, they might be looking for a second red. That could be slowing them down a little bit. They seem to be thinking a lot here. We still have, and what I love about this hand is, even if they take care of what's on the battlefield, we got the Lion coming, we have the Pegasus coming, which are solid cards, and actually, under the right circumstances, could win the game too. So, if they deplete their resources at this point, dealing with what's there, we got a lot of other stuff to do. So, I'm feeling pretty good at our position, but a lot could change here. I mean, they're in the tank, so... Okay, 5/3, it's problematic. Oh, but now it's not. Final death, alright. We'll get rid of it, just get rid of it. And again, the opponent's down to 3 cards, they were thinking really hard. It leads me to believe that they are on their back foot a little bit. Or maybe I wouldn't have been quite as quick to snap that off. Maybe I would have waited to see what else is coming, but... I think under these circumstances, just put the pressure on. It feels like they're having some issues. You know, they're not windmill slamming cards on the table, so they don't like their position, and it's time to take advantage of that. We know that can be a little bit troublesome from our last game. We really annoyed our opponent with it. So, but we got a lot happening here. We're gonna attack. I mean, there are things that can hurt us, like an Infuriate, right? But I say keep the pressure on here. Keep the pressure on. Yeah, I like that. I want to take out the 1/4. Oh, gifted. Yeah, there you go. So we just ran that into the wall. But that card can come back later as a big card. And like I said, we do have other really good cards, so let's keep going. I could run this out now and not be able to protect it. I think I'm going to do that because I feel like, again, they had 1 card in hand. I'm going to get a little riskier. Okay, that's something. Than maybe I normally would. I mean, if they had like 5 cards in their hand, I probably would have ran out the 1/2. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, again, we're in a situation where let's try to beat them with our board state. But if we need to... Actually, you know what? I take that back. They do have that 5/4, which is pretty dangerous. So I believe what I did here was just use the Rise to Glory and get rid of it. And then, but that's great because you get rid of that and you build your board presence back up. Yeah, this is a huge play. And we get a land. Nice. Alright, so that thing's gone. I'm being a little looser, like not holding back mana for the lion right now, because if it dies, I can put it on something else anyway. So like, Like right now, if it was on the bird, I would not be sad. I attacked in there. I think I forgot that I'd reach for a second, which I should know since we have 2 on our deck. Now, if I could activate Lifelink, it makes sense to attack. But I did not have mana, obviously, for that. Okay, so they're digging. I mean, they're digging. They're in trouble. Okay, that's kind of nice. We can do something with this. Let's get that 4/6 in the air. Attack in. Now this time they can block the 2/3 and we can gain life. And that is what we will do. I didn't see how that tapped. It might have been better to manually tap that so I don't use my green up. I could use my black instead, I think. So that way it would have had 2 activations if I needed it for the line. But it doesn't look like we're getting burned by that. 6/7. I'm not too worried about 6/7 vanilla right now. Especially when I have an indestructible creature on the battlefield. So I don't know if they missed that or if they just thought they can get it in the graveyard and then maybe recast it and make it larger. I'm not sure how many cards they have in the graveyard. So I think first we're just going to do our attacks. I was kind of thinking if I could attack him with anything else here, but with that 6/7 obviously doesn't make a whole lot of sense even with the indestructible creature. We can hold that back to block the thing. Just keep attacking in the air. Get the life total down best we can. We can take some hits. We're at 22. We're going to be at 24, so there you go. And we got another Pegasus. This time I'm a little smarter and I saw what we're doing here with the mana. Actually, I still tapped it poorly. I could have done 1 more green and 1 less white there, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe I had to do 1 white for the casting cost. I'd have to see it again. But, yeah. Whenever possible, hold up enough mana to activate that twice so it doesn't get killed. Like, you activate it and then they play an instant removal spell, right? So... although in these colors you have a little bit less to worry about there. Alright. What do you think? This should be good for us. Now, this says trample right for the turn. So we are taking some damage here. But not much. I mean, considering our total. Puts us at 20. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can do 8 in the air. So, I mean, they're going to be another flyer. Should have this. I mean, they could sweep the board. There is Storm's Wrath in red. But if they do, we can make that indestructible, and the 4/6 is still going to live, so... I don't know how much that would really help them. They'd have a 6/7. We're back at 24, they're at 7, so they gotta do something right now. They're digging. Can they find something? They're thinking hard. These have been a good series of games, though, actually. Kind of fun to play. I had a good time with this deck. So worried about its consistency. And we did have its moments where it was troublesome, of course, but it was pretty good in the end. Alright, so that's a signal there. They want to keep something if they are maybe doing Storm's Wrath. Perhaps I've seen this happen before somewhere. Yeah, they're thinking about what they can, where they're going to be after this. Still not a great position, but I mean, I guess better position than they're in right now. There it is. Yup. So, we'll activate this. The other option was let it die and go to the other card, but I'd rather go wide, I think, in this situation. Keep that as a blocker against the 6/7. So I can play this. Doesn't really do much at this point, but we'll attack for 4 in the air, and now they're again in the situation where find an answer or the game's over. One card. I actually clicked past it. I was just gonna block with this to be safe, but I clicked too quickly. But still, taking the 6 there is fine. It doesn't matter. I don't know what that one card is, but they're in the tank. That's it. Alright. 7 and 2. So, pretty happy with that. Like I said at the beginning of the video, like, I didn't feel like this was a 7-win deck, but it did good. It got there, definitely. A little bit different of a draft. I felt like the draft went well, but like I said, a lot of times with this set, I like to try to stick to one color as long as possible in the first few, at least the first few picks. And then, you know, even sometimes go monocolor, and I've had success with that, so... let's open our pack, see what we get. First one of those. The first Ironin Games. Okay. Sure. What else we get? Vessian Boar. Okay. Cool. We can do our mastery thing too. We got a couple of the mastery things to put in there. So as I do that, I will get ready to sign out here, though. Hey, thanks for joining me. And like I said, I don't know if this will get a lot of views, if the people out there want to see me play games or not. But I thought it's another piece of content out there for a time where I'm sure people are starving to watch stuff, especially something a little longer you can put on in the background, relax a little bit. There you have it. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well out there. I know things are tough. I know it's a tough time for everybody, and we just got to get through it. We got to do the right things to get through it. You know, stay isolated, stay away from people. The faster we do what we need to do, the faster this will, we'll get through this. So, anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Be safe, take care of each other. Until next time, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.